Please continue.
Okay. Okay, Paswan sir. Okay. So good morning to all of you, dear participants, Khanam ma'am, today's resource person, and my colleague Dr. J.P. Rai sir. Good morning and welcome to all of you. Today we are before you to present a different new talk with a very renowned person of Institute of Agricultural Sciences, BHU. So for giving his small introduction, I am requesting to my colleague Dr. J.P. Rai sir, kindly introduce Dr. Vinod Kumar Paswan sir. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Goyal. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
welcome today's resource person, Dr. V.K. Paswan. He is faculty in Banaras Hindu University, Institute of Agricultural Sciences. Dr. Paswan is holding the position of assistant professor at Department of Dairy Science and Food Technology, which was earlier known as Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying of Institute of Agricultural Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. He is serving here since August 2010. Before this, as the academic career of Dr. Paswan goes, he has graduated in Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry, BVSc, from Ranchi Veterinary College, Birsa Agricultural University, Ranchi, India, and post-graduated MVSc and PhD in Animal Nutrition from Indian Veterinary Research Institute, IVRI, Izzatnagar, India. So he has worked on 7 externally funded research projects as a principal investigator and co-principal investigator, and has published in high impact journals about 60 research and review papers. That's very marvelous. He has authored 1 book and 11 book chapters are to his credit. He has performed editorial roles in many reputed journals like Frontiers in Nutrition, Frontiers in Veterinary Science also. He has been awarded with several national and international fellowships, including Cochrane Fellowship by United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, and Mississippi State University, United States of America. He has supervised 22 MSc and MTech students and 5 PhD research scholars. He is actively engaged in the research of in the area of his specialization, that is food of animal origin, food safety and quality, phytochemicals, nutrients, and clinical nutrition. So we have a very academically rich person, resource person with us. So I request participants to be interactive, to send their queries and curiosities in the chat box so that we can moderate it later and the discussion can be made live. So with this welcome address, I again welcome Dr. Paswan and thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. J.P. Rai, sir. Shall I start presentation, sir? Hello, Rai, sir. Dear
Yes,
participants, sir, shall I start the presentation?
Yes, yes, sir.
It is over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. J.P. Rai, sir, for presenting my biography. And also, thank you very much, Dr. S.K. Goyal, sir. I congratulate you for organizing such a national workshop of 21-day duration. Just dear participants, the biography, my biography has been presented. So you know briefly about me, that I am working on in the area of foods of animal origin. So my topic of presentation is also in the same area, that is trends in production and processing of animal-based foods. We know that India has the vast resource of livestock and poultry. And these livestock and poultry are the source of food from animal origin. Presently, we have over 500 million livestock and including 300 million cattle and buffaloes. We rank first in milk production in the world, and our milk production is more than 210 million ton production. Similarly, we rank first in respect of buffalo, second in cattle and goats, third in sheep, fourth in ducks, and fifth in chickens, and sixth in camel population in the world. And these serve as food of animal origin. However, we know that in spite of all this, in the major nutrient, that is major nutrient for human being are carbohydrate, proteins, and lipids. In all these, and minor nutrients are minerals and vitamins. In major nutrients, we are now energy sufficient, mostly we can say. Okay, but protein, we are hardly meeting the requirement of protein, and most of the population in our country is protein deficient. Our requirement is 0.8 to 1 gram per kg per day protein. That is, a person of 60 kg body weight requires 60 gram of protein daily on the daily basis. And to this also, 30 to 35% of calories should be from protein. However, we know that the average intake of protein is merely 0.6 gram. That is 40% of the protein, required protein, is deficient in Indian population, and which makes over 17% of Indian populations deficient in proteins. So of course there is still protein energy malnutrition, and we can say okay, the from PEM, at least protein part is deficient still now. So we can say PEM is still exists in India, and it is globally this gives at back foot to our Indian population in terms of health. And this is partly due to insufficient consumption of animal-based food, which supplied variable nutrients, including protein. The FAO estimates that around 200 million population in India are undernourished, and 25% of women are undernourished. As per Global Hunger Index, we rank 107 out of 121 countries in the world. Over 70% of Indian population are vitamin D deficient. Similarly, around 70% are deficient in calcium, whether they are taking large quantity of milk or meat like that. Okay, but still the calcium deficiency is there. This I will talk on later. Similarly, anemia. Most of the population in India are, and particularly women, even in particularly in women, and even the adult men and adolescent male group are also anemic in Indian condition. So we see that wheat production is 112 million tons, and rice production is 135 million tons. We produce 27.5 million tons of pulses, and sugarcane we produce 430.5 million tons. Taken together, from all these are from food of plant origin. It is it has been calculated that the food of animal origin, only one component of food of animal origin, that is milk, is in economic terms, its contribution is more than the combined economic contribution of wheat, rice, and sugarcane taken together. Because just estimate that more than 210 million tons of milk, and together, and that is around 247 or 48 million tons of wheat and rice, and sugarcane 430 million tons. So their economic contribution in terms of rupees or dollar okay, is taken together is less than the only component, that is milk. So animal food has naturally a critical and major role in our food system. Major foods from animals in India are milk, meat, fish, and fishes. In other countries, seafoods also constitute. In our country, this is a minor source. If we just consider only, if we exclude only the fish. Foods of animal origin are source of quality protein for human being. Dairy, egg, and meat are considered complete source of protein, as they contain all all 9 types of essential amino acids in adequate proportion for human body. These are rich source of calcium, and meat is excellent source of various vitamins and minerals like vitamin B1, B2, B12, B6, and many minerals like zinc, selenium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium. So just to say, when we talk about importance of food of animal origin, this gives us quality protein. Protein, when we talk about energy, we discuss only about amount of energy, because energy comes from combustion, and for combustions and producing calorie, only the amount is significant, amount of the quantity of the food. 1 gram of the carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalorie energy. Similarly, 1 gram of protein gives about 4 kilocalorie of energy in body, and 1 gram of fat gives 9 kilocalorie of energy. So only the grammage, that is weight, matters for energy requirements. But for protein, in addition to the weight, the quality also matters. Quality in terms of essential amino acids in proportion and in weight. So the food of animal origin, that is meat, milk, eggs, and fishes, all these have quality protein as compared to the plant protein, because these animal proteins in proportion and in amount contains these essential amino acids as per our requirements. So these quality proteins are costlier as compared to the plant proteins. Plant proteins like pulses, like beans, these are cheaper, but meat, egg, fish, and milk are costlier. Milk, just say that meat, maybe 500 to 600 kilogram, like Shevan or this mutton, it will cost 500 to 600 rupees per kg. Similarly, egg, if you will consider, it will be costlier than the plant protein. Milk is also costlier, although milk is 60 around 60 rupees per kg. But if we will consider on dry matter basis, that is, we will not consider the moisture content in milk, then for 1 kg of milk dry matter, we will have to take 7 to 8 kilogram of the milk. So for 1 kg dry matter from milk, 7 to 8 kilogram of milk, it will cost around more than 400 rupees. So naturally, depending upon the quality of protein, the cost of the food is decided, and and the food of animal origin are costlier as compared to the food of plant origin. Fish is easily digestible source of protein and contains essential unsaturated fatty acids like omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce cholesterol levels, blood pressures, and risk of developing cardiovascular disease. And the fish is most easily digestible plant protein source. Similarly, one egg has varying amount of essential vitamins, minerals, and 6 grams of high quality protein. The quality of egg it's so high that it is frequently used as standard for evaluating protein quality in the foods. The some characteristics of food of animal origin that is that these have high moisture content and water activity. That is, moisture content is more than 70% in almost all the foods of animal origin, and water activity is more than 0.98. Bacteria usually attacks first for spoilage as compared to yeast and mold because it has high moisture contents, and we know that the high moisture content food is first spoiled by bacteria. Then medium moist foods like roti and bread will we first spoiled by yeast, and lesser moisture content foods like dried grain, wheat, rice, all these things, pulses, these will be spoiled by molds. So accordingly, the foods of animal origin have high moisture content, so it is first spoiled by bacteria. And accordingly, these spoilage bacteria, if entered in our body in significant amounts, this will cause disease. Even pathogenic microorganisms, even if in lesser quantity, will enter in through food and will cause disease, may cause disease. So the risk from food of animal origin, the risk of disease and other inadequacies and gastrointestinal problems, okay, food poisonings, all these are more from food of animal origin as compared to food from plant origin. But so these are highly perishable, so easily spoiled. But the advantage is that these foods of animal origin are has a high quality of nutrients, that is all proteins, lipids, minerals, and vitamins. And protein is naturally high quality. It is less fibrous but more costly. Our milk production, just I have earlier told that it is more than 210 million tons. Meat, we produce only around 9 million tons out of 340, more than 340 to 350 million tons globally. So meat production by India is only 2.5% of the global meat productions. That is, we produce only 2.5% of the meat, but consumer in India is more. It is estimated that more than 75% of the Indian population are non-vegetarian. Only 25% are vegetarian. Okay, it is rough estimated. They say that more than 75%. It may go up to 80 or 85% of the Indian population who eats either one of the non-vegetarian thing like meat. Either they will eat meat or milk or egg or fish or something that of animal origin. In fact, all the vegetarian population, they will also eat milk. That is vegan, complete vegan, who don't eat anything from animal origin, including milk, is very less, insignificant amount in Indian population. Okay, so just see that even almost over 75% of our population, 140 crores of the human population, 75% of them are non-vegetarian, but we are producing only 2.5% of the meat. This is not sufficient. And even out of 2.5% of the meat which we produce, its major share is buffalo meat, and 70% of the buffalo meat we export. Egg, we are producing 114.4 billions of eggs, which comes to 6.29 million metric tons. Fish, inland fish, we produce more than 10 million tons, and marine fish approximately 4 million tons. Our milk requirement, okay, the recommendation is 284 million tons. We are availability is more than 406 million ton ml. sorry, out of 284 ml per day requirement, availability is 406 ml per day. It is more. It has become approximately 420 in around this 21-22. So we are producing sufficient quantity of milk, but it is the availability of 406 as against the requirement of 284 is statistical. Okay, only statistical, but its availability, actual availability, practical availability to each and every individual is very much skewed. We know that for some richer family, which has only four members or five members, family members in them, with them, they procure or they take 3 kg, 4 kg milk daily. But there are some poor family, okay, whose member is more than 7, 8, or 10 members family, and they cannot afford even a single liter of milk for 6 months of a year. So the milk availability is very much skewed. And many of the significant proportion of the Indian population, they don't have much availability of milk. Meat, we are very much deficient, and availability is only 4.5 kg per year as against the requirement of 11 kg per year. The meat availability is second lowest in the world. Eggs requirement is 182 eggs per year, and around half of the requirement is available, that is 91 eggs per year. As for the meat, pork is the most widely consumed meat in the world, but in our Indian condition, it is not the most widely. In Indian condition, the poultry, then followed by the buffalo meat, and then by mutton and shawarma. In world, pork is the most widely consumed, then followed by poultry, then beef and mutton. Nowadays, poultry has replaced the pork. That is, poultry is the most consumed globally meat, followed by pork, then beef, and then other meats. People in the developing world eat 32 kg of meat a year on an average, and in developed countries, 80 kg per person in the industrial world. But in India, we consume only 4.5 kg of meat per year per individual. But our consumption is certainly it will increase, because it has been seen that with the strengthening of economic conditions, the meat consumption is increases. This is in the trend globally. It has been seen that those countries whose economic power has increased, their meat consumption has gradually increased. And nowadays also, the meat consumption directly reflects the economic strength of the country. That we are seeing that in developed countries, they eat 80 kg in meat per person. We have sufficient numbers of modern meat processing plants, but it has to increase as per our requirement. It will increase. Per capita consumption of the poultry meat is 3.6 kg per year, which is very less as compared to the global consumption of the poultry meat is 17 kg per year. As for the fish being an affordable and rich source of animal protein is one of the healthiest options to mitigate hunger and nutrient deficit. India has become the third largest fish producer and fourth largest exporter of fish and the fisheries products. As I have earlier elaborated, that the from food of animal origin, including meat, milk, pork, poultry, seafoods, okay, eggs, from all these we get essential nutrients, significant amount in the major nutrients like protein and also lipids, and then minerals and vitamins. In as types of animal production system in the world, I will not elaborate it much. There are three systems of animal production system, that is extensive, intensive, and semi-intensive. Our production system is semi-intensive, mostly semi-intensive. The trends in animal production is that to transform the agriculture crops, fibrous food, okay, like paddy straw and wheat busa, all these into valuable meat products or animal products like milk. This is the trend that since our plate is deficient in protein, so the aim is to produce more proteins, or particularly animal proteins, from the byproducts of crop production systems. By keeping sustainability of the environment in which we can target to lessen methane gas emissions. Globally, methane gas is produced from animal food, animal production systems, as like also in from the rice production system, but from animal system it is more. So the target is that we should produce animal, but at the same time we should consider just lessening the methane emissions, which is a greenhouse gas, potent greenhouse gas, from the animal system. The meat processing in India, automated and on-site meat processing systems are there. If we see that organized meat system, of course, not in the roadside production systems, but in organized systems, we have automated on-site meat production. The use of automated carcass sorting within abattoirs, chillers, has been used to eliminate labor inputs, the risk of injury, as well as the potential for between carcass contamination. The robotization of stunning, evisceration, giblet harvesting, and carcass cutting has increased the rate at which broiler and other meat animals can be processed. Automated cutting technology has been installed into beef, lamb, and pork abattoirs to improve the precision and reproducibility of carcass fabrication. Real-time X-ray imaging and laser scanning technology are used to define the cutting lines and support the use of these technologies. Similarly, waste management in meat processing has also been uptaken by automated systems, particularly if captured and appropriately treated, waste can be converted into high-quality bionutrients for use as crop fertilizers, aquaculture feed, pet foods, and as niche consumer products. Alternatively, biodigesters have been widely investigated to convert meat processing waste into methane, and in doing so provide another source of energy that can be traded or used in-house. So what are the advances in animal food production and processing systems? Now, advances is that several types of fortified milks, cultured meat, and plant-based meat analogs are being produced. We are targeting enhancing of shelf life, also shelf life of meat products or milk products like that. Okay, so these are targeted. For milk fortified, we know that milk is almost complete food of the milk is the only complete food, but it is deficient in some nutrients like iron is deficient in milk, calcium is there, but vitamin D is deficiency of vitamin D is there. Okay, so without vitamin D, calcium absorption and its deposition on bone cannot happen. Okay, so for increasing the absorption of calcium, milk is fortified with vitamin D. Milk is fortified with iron, in which it is deficient. Milk is also fortified with vitamin A. Vitamin A and carotene is insufficient in milk. So to increase to meet the requirement nowadays in developed countries, and milk is essentially fortified with vitamin A, D, and iron, and it is given to all population groups, whether it is children or adult human population. In India also, certain niche group, the fortification has been started, and these fortified milks, fortified with vitamin A, D, and iron, is available for certain consumer groups, but it has to be mass fortified to target deficiency of these things. Why I wish to emphasis on this calcium deficiency. Just as I have told, that even if the consumer takes sufficient quantity of calcium in their food through, like those rich population who are consuming milk or fish, through these milk and fish, sufficient calcium will be ingested in their body, but it will not be absorbed in absence of vitamin D. And since richer population, that vitamin D is found in the presence of sunlight, and the richer the human being, they are less at exposure of sunlight. Their office, like just see that we are sitting in our house or in office, we don't have just exposure of sun. We will travel in car, so again we will travel in AC car, again we will not have exposure of sunlight. So even richer people who are consuming sufficient quantity of calcium, they will have less exposure of sun, and in absence of the sunlight, there will be no formation of vitamin D, and in the absence of this formed vitamin D, the calcium in their food cannot be deposited on the bone. So their bone will be and is always brittle and weak. What happens that these population group, even in sleep in their home, little bit sleep, so their bone gets easily fractured, fracture hand, fracture legs, fracture hips, so all these things. So we should not only target about this calcium intake, but we should together consider taking vitamin D. And for this, either we can take external supplements, vitamin D tablets, or better we should take exposure to sun. In that way, calcium deficiency in elder population and mother, so that can be avoided and eliminated from our population group. So for this targeting targeting supplementation of vitamin D, milk is excellent vehicle, and we can fortified milk with vitamin D, vitamin A, and iron. Cultured meat, now trend is that ahimsa meat called, or meat is being produced through tissue culture. China is producing much more, and other developed country has also is also producing. In India also, cultured meat has been is being produced, and many restaurant has come up which produces food products from cultured meat. So just cultured meat is taken up, production of cultured meat is taken up by CCMB at Hyderabad and ICR NRC on meat, which is also located in Hyderabad. So these lab grown meat or cell cultured meat technology are novel technology, and it is produced by culturing muscle stem cells in a collagen matrix obtained from either liver or dead animals, and providing the necessary source of energy required for their proliferation and differentiation into skeletal muscle tissue strips. Cultured meat is nutritionally on par with conventional animal meat, with the same taste, smell, and texture. But advantage that it eliminates the step of slaughtering, so it is ahimsa meat, we can say. There is no killing of animal involved, and also it reduces the carbon footprints. So the environmental sustainable meat productions can be produced. So these are the steps of cultured meat productions, how we take this sample of tissue, and we extract stem cells, then we take nutrients from plant source and growing into nutrient medium, then formations of muscles, and not only muscles, bones also, okay, bones, cartilage and other things, okay. These are formed, all the components of the meat are formed, and then these meats are processed, and then it is incorporated into the food products, and it is consumed. So this is the trend, and it has to be increased in the future. Nowadays, scientists are also targeting producing milk from the tissue cultured cells. So in maybe the time will come when the milk will also come from the animal cells, lab produced milk. There will be no requirement of this live animal for milk. This naturally will require time and extensive research, but no doubt this area has also, the scientist has not remained it unexplored. Then plant-based meat analogs now to replace this meat from the plant sources like wheat, soybean, legumes, or jackfruit, okay, and many fungi, mushrooms. These plant-based meat analogs are being developed, which have similar textures and approximately same taste and flavor as that of meat is being produced through these plant sources. So people can just replace their meat sources from these plant-based food sources, and it will also it can be consumed by the vegetarian people. So the most common is texturized vegetable protein, okay, and it is produced through extrusion technology. So many how plant-based meat analogs are nowadays, just 3D printing technology has also come, in which the protein ingredients, oil and fat ingredients, many adhesives, moistures, and all these things, all the ingredients are being modeled and incorporated into 3D printers, and then meat analog products from these sources are being produced. Now, enhanced shelf life through many advanced techniques like freezing, irradiation, chemicals, advanced drying technology, modified atmospheric packaging, smart packaging. Okay, so through all these things, shelf life enhancement is of the animal products is being targeted. So newer technology are ultrasonification. It has been used to improve the functional, sensorial, and nutritional property, also improve the protein digestibility of animal foods, extraction of proteins like pH, salt, temperature, sonication, membrane filtration. All through all these things, animal proteins is being extracted and supplied to the targeted population. Non-thermal technology like high pressure processing, cold plasma, supercritical fluid extraction, ultraviolet radiations, and novel thermal processing technology like ohmic heating, or high frequency heating, radio frequency, and microwave heating. All these are being adopted in animal production systems also. Talking about there is also some disadvantage from the animal food production system. Um, Unfortunately, meat can be the high in saturated fats. Lamb, pork, beef, and duck are considered the worst culprits, while poultry are comparatively safe. So, too many saturated fats increase the risk of cardiovascular disease and high cholesterol. Further, protein-based diet increases uric acid content and chances of arthritis also. And other harmful effects from foods of animal origin is that lactose intolerance from milk. Milk has significant amounts of cholesterol and saturated fat, so it can give the indigestion also. And milk may contain contaminants that ranges from pesticides to drug like antibiotics or hormones. Pesticides will come from the animal feeds, animal feeds which is sprinkled in the farm, agriculture farm, and antibiotics and hormones. These are used for the treatment of animals, and these may come in the milk and meat also, and harm to our people. In addition to that, in addition to these harms, the environmental load from the food of animal origin is much more. We know that in the food chain it is one step above the crop production systems, and so it requires 10 times more energy in terms of water or nutrients, okay, for producing a unit amount of animal food as compared to the plant food. Also, environmental threats, environmental deterioration, like producing of greenhouse gases like methane is there. So sustainability issue is also with this system. So to conclude, foods of animal origin are nutrient dense, quality proteins, but are highly perishable. The demand for meat is projected to increase as both the global population and average income increases. During processing, novel processing plays an important role in maintaining the nutritional value of meat and meat products. Thank you. Participants.
So thank you very much, Dr. Paswan.
Yeah.
The organizers, particularly handlers of the session, are requested to kindly unmute all the participants so that they could ask question. There is one question, sir, from Dr. Narendra Agrawal. He wants to know how to reduce or control the emission of methane from different animal production systems.
Yeah.
Sir, participants are unmuted.
Thank you, Hamida.
Okay. So, Dr. Rai, sir, this is who has raised this question, sir? This is very interesting question.
Dr. Narendra Agrawal, and I congratulated him for his query.
Okay.
Sir,
okay. Dr.
Paswan,
Narendra,
sir, you can check your chat box. The questions are there.
Okay, so okay, no problem. Can I just communicate to Dr. Narendra Agrawal? Dr. Narendra, are you listening?
Sir, yes, sir.
Dr. Narendra, where are you working? In which subject area?
Actually, sir, I am working in Soil and Water Engineering Department.
Okay.
IGQ Raipur.
Okay. It is very much relevant question. And,
my one PhD student is working on emission of methane.
Okay.
Some project is there at Soil Science Department.
Yeah. Mainly methane is produced from this ruminant animal, that is cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat. Okay, methane is produced as a hydrogen sink. In the process of fermentation, hydrogen is released, and carbon captures this, and this carbon together with hydrogen is converted into methane. Otherwise, what hydrogen will do, it will reduce everything. Okay, sir. So everything means all the components in the presence of high amount of reducing agent, many things which need not to be reduced will be reduced. There should be a balance in oxidation state and reducing state. Okay, so in order to prevent it, reducing many metabolites and other reaction products and other structural components. Okay, to prevent them, it needs to be hydrogen produced in the fermentation production needs to be captured immediately. So methane, carbon does and in the process it absorbs this hydrogen, and methane is produced. But we know that methane is 28 times higher as in greenhouse gas potency as compared to CO2. So it must be, and so its production should be reduced, and also it is a loss of energy. Carbon otherwise will produce energy if it will be burned in the body. Combustion will oxidation and combustion will occur. But if it will be just produced as methane, there will be loss of 7 to 12% of energy. So this amount of 12% of energy cannot be converted into the animal food like milk or meat. Okay, sir. So we target to reduce methane. Methane reduction mainly is done through nutritional manipulation by strategically incorporating some agent which can prevent methane production. In this system, many plant phytochemicals and other chemicals, maybe like fats, formaldehyde, and many more things are being used. Saponins in plants, okay, so tannins, all these things reduced. So we will have to strategically think that which component is suitable for which animal group, and accordingly it will reduce. So so it is a complex system. Animal nutritionist will understand this, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir. Any more questions, sir?
Sir, there is another question from my side. You can see your chat box. I just first I would like to congratulate you, sir, for delivering a very interesting and important talk.
Sir.
Okay. Actually, sir, I just want to know, meat obtained with 3D printing technology or we produced in our laboratory, in which category this meat falls? Means is this is vegetarian or non-vegetarian?
Sir, yeah, very nice questions. Thank you. And what to say? It may be, sir, very debatable questions also. Just I will cite one example later on, but first come to your the meat in 3D printing technology will come vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Sir, it depends on the ingredients. If all the ingredients are vegetarian origin, of course it will be vegetarian. But if any one of the ingredient is non-vegetarian origin, meat origin particularly, okay, sir, then we can say that it will be non-vegetarian. And sir, discussion on vegetarian and non-vegetarian is very much debatable. Just I will cite this autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, an experiment with the truth. He has elaborately discussed it. Then when he has gone to pursue his law study in England, okay, so he discussed that how the egg, which all people consume, or we consume unfertilized, non-fertilized eggs, sir. This non-fertilized egg is produced without the help of male birds. Only female produces. It is not fertilized, and it cannot give chick. So it is an animal product, and it has no life, and it should be considered vegetarian from animal product, as milk is also coming from animal product. Okay, and it has no life. But in Indian population, its understanding and its belief in veg and non-veg is something different. They don't consider this unfertilized as vegetarian. They consider many population, they considered it non-vegetarian. So they will also, many non-vegetarian will not many vegetarian will not consume egg also. So this is debatable, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your giving a very explained reply of my small question. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Krishna Mohan Kumar, you are raising your hand. Do you have any query? Mr.
Yeah,
Krishna Mohan
question.
Kumar Srivastava,
Yes, sir.
please ask your query.
Yes, sir. My question is that processed foods are not good for the health. We should get food stuff from the natural sources or in the natural form.
Okay. Krishna
Yes,
Mohan.
human being is not a machine.
Okay, no problem. Krishna Mohan ji, where are you working?
I am working in BioWage Research Institute of Agriculture, Technology and Sciences in Prayagraj.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I know BioWave. Thank you, sir. Yours is a good organization, and yeah, you are targeting on this natural products mainly. No problem. Sir, processing from the time immemorial, we are processing food. Even if you like rice and wheat are also processed. First, when we are cutting from our field, means harvesting the agriculture crop, people will say, and then we are threshing it, and then we are and then milling, like in rice we are milling it. So this is also processing, and like also producing wheat grains or producing flour, this is also processing. So we cannot eliminate processing. We cannot eat any food without processing, sir. But okay, sir. So no doubt we have to process it for to make our food as per our requirement, as we can consume. But in the process of processing, there is loss of nutrients also. So that we need have to target. Okay, what we are losing, how much it is beneficial. Processing is how much beneficial. Okay, so we will have to compare it, whether it is, if it is losing sufficient quantity of nutrients, then processing may not be beneficial. But if a minor quantity of nutrient is being lost and processed food is made available to is liked by all the people, then we will have to go for processing, sir. That is, you know, primary processing, secondary processing, tertiary processing, and nowadays quaternary processing is also coming. So at every step there will be some loss. We will have to consider it. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so we cannot avoid processing. Cooking is also a processing, sir. We cannot stop cooking our food.
So thank you very much, sir, for your very explanatory lecture, and it was so eloquent that much of the participants, they are not in a condition to ask the questions, because everything you presented they understood so well that the questions remain questions remain out of question. What Krishna Mohanji was saying, trying to say, I think it was about minimal processing. There is a term, minimal processing.
Yeah,
So he was concerned about that, and
Yeah.
it was not his question, rather his submission.
Okay, sir.
So
No doubt,
thank
sir.
you, sir.
Nutrient loss, we will have to consider it. No problem. So if it is comes
Yes.
through minimal processing, no problem.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time and effort, and to find our find for our participants. And thank you, participants. Thank you, the handlers of the system, especially Hamida ji and other behind the curtain. So, on behalf of the organizers, as a course director, I thank you one and all for this successful session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Goel, sir, and Ranga for
Thank
giving
you,
me
sir.
opportunity.
Thank you very much. So participants, we will
participants.
meet again at 2:30 with a new lecture with a new resource person. Okay, thank you.
All may now leave the session, please.